Well, first, I love playing St. Joe's. Kudos to Cindy and her crew. The kids play hard-nosed kids. We knew exactly what they were going to bring, and it was a bloodbath today. It was, every possession mattered from jump, because that's what you get when you get a St. Joe's team. And so I was most definitely happy with the way we showed up, ready to play. We were ready to compete today. Now, are we at the level where we can execute for 40 minutes to win a game like that? That's the question. And that's where we have to get better. And that's a growth in the process where, last year you don't miss wide open layups. You just don't. That's a question of skill. There's nothing a coach can do about foul shots and layups. But for the most part, we executed everything we wanted. And played really good defense, finally out-rebounded a very good rebounding St. Joe's team. So we were in the game because we defended, held them to 51, we rebounded, and then we took care of the ball. 13 turnovers I can live with. Well, I would have loved 10, but that puts you in a position to win. Now your kids have to go out and win the game. And, we didn't execute and didn't make big shots when we needed to. So, that was the game. But I thought it was a very, very, well-played game from a standpoint of just battling, just hitting. It was like two warriors, hitting each other. So not the prettiest offensive game, but that was a pure guts, defense and rebounding type of game.
Any questions for Coach?
Coach, Awa seems to be getting better with every game that she plays with the increased minutes. Double-digit rebounds today. Can you just speak on her development?
That's, again, I was a specialty player. Is she a 30-minute starter right now? No. Her skill level doesn't lend to that offensively. But is she a good rebounder and a good defender? Yes. So she makes up for AD a great deal, where other kids have a hard time making up that rebounding margin. Awa did her job today. She defended and she rebounded. And so these minutes for her are very important. So when we get AD back, now we have Awa's got great game experience against top teams. It's not like she's playing poorly against, the bottom of the league. This is Richmond. This is St. Joe's. She's getting valuable minutes, and she's growing with that. She really is. Now expanding her game a little bit more to be able to make chippies and dumpy, layups, things like that. That's the next level, where she becomes a little bit more of an offensive threat. So that's the next growth for Awa.
Coach, can you just talk about St. Joe's defense on Sophie? Didn't make a three for the first time in over 300 days, and they felt like they had her locked up all night.
Well, if I'm scouting Sophie Phillips, the first thing I'm going to do is knock her in the chest with an elbow, and then the windpipe, and then I'm going to get to her legs. And they were extremely physical with her. This is the scouting report on her. It's what they did to Dolly. It's what they'll do to her. So, that's with Sophie. It's being able to create separation with power and quickness. Being able to get that footwork a little quicker coming off staggers or flares or pin downs. And so, she's got to be able to hit shots when she's tired. And again, when they're being physical with you. It's one thing when you're coming off and they got great separation, but every shot of hers today was pretty contested. And then she had to work for it. So your legs go a little bit, you're a little bit tired. And again, they were physical with her. So, and we need her to score. In order for us to win, she's got to give us at least 8. Today she hits one of them, you probably win the game. But we look to at least get 10 points from her a game. Whether it's by threes or also, being able to attack the rim. And as a player, I face this a lot because I was a 3-point shooter. You got to get out in transition and kind of get a couple open, really good looks to get off a little bit, to get your rhythm, especially when you're in a grind in a half court. You're hoping you get free in transition and get to let one loose where you're wide open, and that kind of gets you going a little bit. And they did a great job. They were like white on rice on Soph today.
They had 2 fouls to give the last possession. Were you surprised they didn't give one?
I was. I thought, I most definitely, with the way we shoot free throws, I most definitely thought that they'd foul and they'd put us on the line. They wouldn't let us shoot the 3. But they didn't. At least the first one, to take a little time off, see what we're going to run. Thank God we had 3 plays we could have run at the end of the game to get a 3. But I was a little surprised that they didn't take one. And then even when get it down, if you get it under, 5, that's the question every coach, do you foul and put us on the line? And we shoot, like 56% from the free throw line. So, I was anticipating they were going to do what, the last team did and foul us and not let us get a 3 off.
Tisha made a couple dribbles inside the arc. Was that to create space, or did she obviously knew you needed 3 there?
No, we were running a hammer action on the weak side for Sophie P. So she was supposed to drive it, and then we were running a double in screen for Dee Dee coming off. So Tisha felt like she couldn't drive it, she couldn't get it, so she just went 1-on-1. But we did have hammer action, and then we had the 5 popping, so we had 3 opportunities to shoot the 3. So it was hammer, double in screen, and then the 5 popping if they both went with the 3-point shooter. So no, that wasn't the design play for the step back 3, but she felt she couldn't get by her and make that play, so she took the 3 herself. And the play before, when we called a timeout. We ran elevator action. We knew everyone would run and hug their men for Sophie P. And then it was just a quick ISO. We wanted to extend, get a quick 2 and see if we couldn't get a stop, and then come down and a 1-point game. But we fouled defensively on the other end, and we had to get a 3. So.
Tammi, the fourth quarter was your best defensively, held up to 30%. How'd you feel that helped you get back in the game?
It, and especially when we're struggling to score, our press. One thing we did a little bit more, if you noticed today, is we picked up a little bit more. We pressed them a little bit more, not necessarily to create turnovers, but to take them out of the rhythm. They run about 35 sets. They have 35 different sets, and Cindy's really good at picking you apart. Like, we're going to pick on so-and-sos, and when they get into their sets with rhythm, they can score, and they'll just pick you apart. So we thought we were going to press them a little bit, run and jump them, sometimes just match up, get them out of that nice little rhythm of them. And I thought the second half, we sped them up a lot. They took some quick shots that they normally make in their half-court offense, and we were able to come down and have an opportunity, to at least tie the game. But I thought defensively, we played a really, really good game. We didn't go any 2. We were going to mix it up a lot today, but after we started guarding, I didn't feel like we needed to go zone. We were going to go 5 back, 55 back in the zone, and really try to throw them off balance. But I thought our man, for the most part, you hold, one of the top 3 teams to 51 points, you should win the game. You should be able to score more than 51 points to win a game. But again, offensively, we have trouble some nights putting the ball in the hole for whatever reason. But defensively, it wasn't our issue. That's what got us back in the game in that fourth quarter. Gave us the opportunity. I thought our kids battled, got back in there. We went down 10, and then we made that run, and it was because of our defense.
You set the bar so high the last 2 years with only losing 2 A-10 games in each of those seasons. Right now, you sit here at 4-3 after being favored coming into the season. Is that surprising at all to you and to the player?
Maybe if you asked me that in the beginning of the year, but once you get your kids in and you see what you've got, what they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to do, what you think as a coach they can. I'm not saying what they can, what you brought them in to do, and what role and what fill, and then the chemistry. As the season goes on, it's not surprising. You've got to you got to not look in the past. You got to say, hey, listen, this is what we've got. Now, how are we going to win games with this? And if they're not doing what they're supposed to, well, now we really have to adjust. How are we going to win games with this and get better? So, some of the players that we expected to do certain things, whether they're doing them or not, you got to make the adjustments. So now, it's like, okay, we didn't get this. We thought we did. Well, now we got to make some adjustments, and that's where coaching comes in. I thought we'd be much better offensively. I did. I thought we'd average, high 60s. I did. I'm just being honest with the kids, with what their skill set was coming in. And so, it doesn't surprise me where we are, because I see it every day in practice. I know where we need to get better. And you're going to have to get better to win games. We're going to have to. But that's part of the process. And we can, because I know what we can do. You beat Princeton, you play with NC State, you do certain things. But with certain kids, It's the discipline of consistency every day. And then, do you really want to win? There's a difference between being hungry and starving. That kind of intensity level, where last year's team had it. They had it, especially our leaders. You know, Say and Madison were just crazy, you know, basketball intelligent. They loved the game. They led us to a point, emotionally intelligent, with great leadership skills, where right now we may lack that a little bit, where we don't have that. So it comes from the coaches right now, where we're trying to find that on the floor. And so, you know, that's the difference with every team every year. And I tell them all the time, we're not comparing you guys to the past. We've got to make our own season, this team. And we are where we are right now. And so now we got to get better. And every game, every practice, you got to show up with that thought process of getting better. And at some point, it either comes or it doesn't. And that's my job, to get them to keep at it every day in practice. And then every game. And then you have a chance to win a basketball game. You know, we don't show up today with intensity or effort, that team beats you by 20. That's just, hey, we're not getting beat by 20. We're playing, we're in games. We got to elevate our level of play. And it's the littlest things. It really is. And a lot of it's here. A lot of it's here. I know what we have in the locker room. You guys don't. You see the product. But a lot of it's between their ears. It really is. Not so much always their actual skill set. So we have to get better with that. And we will, you know, every day. But, you know, I'm encouraged and I'm excited. And I tell them, you know, that's why it's a long season. Anything can happen. But you got to believe that. So it starts, again, it'll start tomorrow in practice, because we have 2 days, we got LaSalle. So we learn from this, we're going to watch film, get better, and then we got to start preparing for practice to get ready to go on the road, which has been a struggle this year. Not the same intensity level if you've watched us at home as we have on the road, and that's where we really have to get better. We got to get better on the road.
Any final questions? All right, we'll end it there. See you Saturday.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dan.
I got to go do autographs.